feel happy to enjoy my free time.
Right. Right, and that's excellent. Yeah, great. So, and why is that particular football team? I think you said Esperance. Why are they your favorite team?
L'Espérance sportive de tennis. C'est ça. My favorite football team is called l'Espérance sportive de tennis. EST.
Oh, okay. And why are they your favorite team? What makes them a strong team, do you think?
Because it's the first football team in Tunisia, and even during nearly 6 months, it won two Champions League,
Good.
African Champions League.
Excellent. That reminds me of the, maybe I think it's called the African Cup of Nations. Is that what it's called?
Yes,
Good, good, great. And
and mainly even last time I kept in touch with my cousin who is working in who is a university professor in Germany. He was the one who provided me with some platforms related to a blind community, either in Canada or even in France. And I asked him about some programs that might help the blind in their studies and their jobs. For example, I asked him about some programs that might transmit a vocal message into written one. For example, I speak one sentence or two, and these sentences will be written in Microsoft Word or TXT, because
yeah, and
this
that's
might help us to overcome as more as possible of problems.
and that technology, that advancement in technology would be very interesting.
Of
Yes.
course, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, one of the really interesting ideas is to think about what maybe you would like, what overall, what impact you would like to have. What I guess if you could invent something, what would you like to invent?
Relation to my studies or my maybe professional life.
Just in general, if you could invent a product, what would the product be? What do you think?
I think program. I have no specific idea, but programs related to my profession as a teacher of English. Why
Yeah.
not
So
invent
what do you think
some,
we need to what do you think we need to invent?
for example, programs helping us to deal with all types of books or copies, because
Mm-hmm.
yes, because for this was the most challenging work for me in at university, and even until now not all documents
Mm-hmm.
are available for us, and even when
Sure.
I have got
So
any
maybe you would
document,
like,
it's
got you. So maybe you would like to invent technology that helps teachers around the world do the administrative tasks of teaching better. So maybe you want to invent some technology that helps with the administration side of teaching, the organization of teaching.
yes, yes, that's the point. Because for maybe one of the sourest memories, the worst memories at university was that my book of critical theory, so it was a subject in literature, was printed on, scanned only 3 days before the exam. So I did remember it. It was the the worst memory at university, because I was totally confused and disappointed why my sighted classmates have got their documents as easy as they like, but for me it's too. hard and even impossible sometimes.
That's a very frustrating problem all over the world. I
Yeah,
completely understand.
yeah. Of course, I'm not talking about documents in braille writing. No, no. E-copies of my books and documents. This is what I am seeking.
Yeah, that's always very difficult. That is always a overwhelming problem for university students, I think, all over the world. I don't know. Um, I mean, if you're blind and you are a university student, maybe you can comment below with some suggestions on what you think needs to be done here. But I certainly think that things do need to improve and do need to be done.
Of course, yes, because until now I'm keeping in touch with some professors. Uh, some of them last time were totally disappointed and even astonished how I faced those terrible problems. But honestly, some of them helped me so much, and I would like to send my thankful greeting for all of them, all professors who helped me at university.
Well, that's great. Yeah, you
Yeah,
should send them this episode so they can listen to this.
yes.
Yes. So at this university, did they teach mostly in English or in French or Arabic, or did each professor have their own way?
Of course, it depends on the subject that you are studying at university. For example, for me, of course, all of them are teaching in English. Of course, we have also some extra subjects such as Arabic and French. Even if I'm a teacher, a student of English in English department, we are studying other subjects such as Arabic and French. But most of subjects were in English.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm noticing that. I think most universities around the world, many of them are transitioning and moving towards a system of, English education.
Yes, and even here in Tunisia, even if we are our subjects were based mainly, for example, scientific one. The scientific one is in French, but most of people here are totally aware that English is number one. Most of them they are trying to learn English, and for example, 2 days ago, as I have already told you, the president of our blind union suggested why not to launch one platform for our blind community here in Jerba, Midun, to teach them English because when I launched that course in the higher institution of technological studies here in Midun, most of them they found lots of problem to move from one city to come here to the island of Jerba. Thus he told me I think it will be easier for them to study online to learn English. So of course I appreciated his proposal, and we will work hand on hand to develop this idea.
Yeah, I mean, you can study English on online anytime, but really, the universities I think need to be focusing more and more on English, so that
Of
in the
course,
end you end up with educating more people in English, and that's really what it's about in the end.
of course, yes.
Well, that is all really interesting information. I think that all of our audience will really enjoy this and really appreciate all of this good information. So yes, I mean we have about 5 minutes basically. What are some maybe couple final big statements that you would like to make to end this episode?
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank you so much for offering this opportunity. Really, I appreciate your help and your ideas. And the thing that I would like to finish with is related to creating new ideas, to opening new perspectives for the blind in relation to our studies, our professional lives. Even if I'm still unemployed, but of course, usually I'm trying to create new perspectives, new ideas, to avoid dealing with that terrible free time, which seems a little bit sometimes annoying. That's why learning new languages or keeping in touch with new societies and blind associations will be useful for our future. And thank you so much.
I agree. I completely agree with that. We have about three coming down the home stretch here. I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, I understand. There's a lot of boring days in life. Life, as it was once said, is boring. But I think a lot of people around the world, are home a lot and feel more bored and more anxious than ever before. I think that's a very, very, very common feeling. Hmm.
Yes, yes. That's why usually I'm surfing on the net and keeping in touch, communicating other friends to talk a little bit about these issues and why not creating, inventing new ideas. Maybe when you are staying at home, you can create new project or new ideas that might be useful for blind communities or even for your country. That's why.
Right, right,
Mm.
sure. And so, what are some creative projects that you like to work on?
Like the one related to launching online course for the blind community.
And how is that going? Yes.
Yeah. And even a few days ago, I asked my professor, Mr. Abdel, why not to work hand on hand to ask our government to have some ideas for some laws for the blind to protect them at the university because until now 2020 blind students have no protection at university in relation to for example, defining the timing of your exam or providing e-copies of your lessons and tasks. So we will work hand on hand for this to achieve this project.
Yeah, that is always an issue. In the United States, we really do not have a whole lot of laws about that topic. So basically, what it comes down to is each university is a little bit different. Some handle it a lot better, others handle it not as well. It just depends. Hmm.
Yes, I hope that the situation is getting better, and of course, challenging and doing our best is more than required. That's why.
Or if everyone just simply did their best, it would be a lot easier. Well, I certainly hope that you share this episode with your Tunisian friends. I certainly hope that this episode gets around Tunisia, so that this podcast kind of gets on the map as it is in the analytics, so that this is something that more and more people in Tunisia listen to. I certainly hope that. And I certainly hope, and I know that you will be back very soon. You're always welcome. And by the way, thank you so much for staying up so late in Tunisia. I
Thank you
appreciate
too.
it. This is Aaron Richmond. That was Aaron's opinion. Have a